Lesson 4. How you can help victims of domestic abuse. Introduction. Domestic violence and abuse are problems that must be addressed on many levels. They cannot be overcome unless society as a whole, as well as individuals, are willing to face the harsh realities of domestic abuse and take the steps necessary to get the help necessary for both the victims and the abusers. In this lesson, we will look at how you can help by supporting the resources and providing individual support as well. Resources for the abused. The single greatest obstacle for most victims of abuse is access to proper resources or even knowledge of available resources. Although the last 3 decades has seen a steady rise in resources for domestic abuse treatment and counseling, it has not reached every community, and many are not aware of the resources in their own neighborhoods. There is also a need to coordinate the many different federal, state, and local resources more effectively. There is sometimes overlapping coverage in some areas, while in other areas of the country, victims fall through the cracks because there are no resources available. The same holds true for non-traditional victims. While some organizations can provide aid and support for any victim, others are equipped to work only with female abuse victims or particular minority groups, leaving others nowhere to turn. Resources. Some of the best resources at the national level are listed here for convenient reference. All of these are excellent places to begin, whether you wish to volunteer your time, money, or expertise to help others who have suffered from domestic abuse, or if you are in need of assistance yourself. The National Domestic Violence Hotline, 800-799-SAFE, 800-787-3224, TDD. Trained counselors who can provide crisis assistance staff the hotline 24 hours a day. The hotline also has information about shelters, legal advocacy, healthcare centers, and counseling available in all 50 states. You can also visit the following URL or write to them at National Domestic Violence Hotline, P.O. Box 161810, Austin, Texas 78716. The National Battered Women's Law Project addresses legal issues surrounding domestic violence. For more information, contact the project directors at National Battered Women's Law Project, 275 7th Avenue, Suite 1206, New York, New York, 10001. The phone number is 212-741-9480, and the fax number is 212-741-6438. The National Network to End Domestic Violence focuses on social change, endeavoring to create a social, political, and economic environment in which violence against women no longer exists. They offer housing, leadership programs, education, and safety, as well as outreach programs across the country. For more information, go to this URL or contact them at the National Network to End Domestic Violence, 660 Pennsylvania Avenue Southeast, Suite 303, Washington, D.C. 20003. The phone number is 202-543-5566, and the fax number is 202-543-5626. Stop Abuse for Everyone, SAFE, is a human rights group that specializes in help for the atypical abuse victim, those who do not usually come to mind when people think of domestic abuse victims. This includes straight men, homosexuals, the elderly, and teenagers. The National Crime Prevention Council recently voted SAFE one of the most promising programs in the fight against domestic violence. Visit their site for an extensive list of national, international, and local resources, as well as educational materials and hotlines based on specific needs. This site has a wealth of training materials and information, as well as forums and mailing lists. For more information and to take advantage of their resource links, visit SAFE at this URL. Addressing cultural needs. The rich cultural and ethnic diversity in the United States enhances our way of life, but can also contribute to a hesitation to seek help on the part of abuse victims who may have difficulty overcoming cultural language or religious barriers to seek help. For many, the language barrier causes increased isolation. Because of this, many organizations designed to help specific ethnic groups, cultures, and religions have been formed over the years so that any victim of domestic violence can seek help no matter what their cultural or ethnic background and whether or not they speak English. These groups work within the cultural norms of a particular group, making the individuals feel more comfortable and working closely with them to ensure that they find the appropriate help for their needs. Matri at this URL. This is a non-profit specializing in helping South Asian women victims of abuse. Languages spoken include Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmiri, Konkani, Malayalam, Marathi, Marwari, Oriya, Punjabi, Sindhi, Sinhalese, Tamil, Telugu, and Urdu. Maitri, 234 East Gish Road, number 200, San Jose, California, 95112. The phone number is 408-436-8393, and the toll-free hotline is 1-888-8-MAITRI. The National Latino Alliance for the Elimination of Domestic Violence promotes education, assistance, and solutions for ending domestic violence in the Latino community. Here is the URL. The National Latino Alliance for the Elimination of Domestic Violence can be contacted at P.O. Box 672, Triborough Station, New York, New York, 10035. The phone number is 646-672-1404, and the toll-free number is 1-800-342-9908. The Institute on Domestic Violence in the African American Community focuses on the unique circumstances of the African American family as it faces partner violence, child abuse, elder maltreatment, and community violence. You can find them at this URL. You can contact them at the Institute on Domestic Violence in the African American Community, University of Minnesota School of Social Work, 290 Peters Hall, 1404 Gortner Avenue, St. Paul, Minnesota, 55108, and the telephone number is 1-877-643-8222. Gay Men's Domestic Violence Project is for men who are in abusive homosexual relationships. The organization provides crisis counseling, legal services, safety planning, emergency shelter, housing advocacy, and educational services for men who are in abusive same-sex relationships. Find them at this URL and contact them at Gay Men's Domestic Violence Project, PMB 131, 955 Mass Ave, Cambridge, Massachusetts, 02139. Phone number is 617-354-6056, and the crisis hotline is 800-832-1901. Apnagar. This domestic violence shelter serves predominantly Asian women and children in the Midwest. It also provides translation and support for non-resident victims of abuse, including legal aid and professional training. Reach them at this URL and at Apnagar, 4753 North Broadway, Suite 518, Chicago, Illinois, 60640. The phone number is 773-334-0173, and the crisis hotline is 773-334-4663. The Asian Task Force Against Domestic Violence provides legal assistance to Asian families facing domestic violence issues including a variety of legal forms, contact information, and shelter projects. Contact them at this URL. And at Asian Task Force Against Domestic Violence, Post Office Box 120108, Boston, Massachusetts 02112. The phone number is 617-338-2350. The hotline is 617-338-2355. Getting the word out. The most important contribution that you as an individual can make to your own community is to get the word out about what resources are available for victims of domestic violence in your area. One of the best websites available with comprehensive information on state-by-state domestic violence resources is also the simplest. We do not have the space to include all state information here, but if you visit the Women's Rural Advocacy Program's website at this URL, you will find a map of the United States. Simply click on your state and another window will open with the names and information on various state domestic violence programs, including additional links. Here are just a few things that you can do with the information you find at any of the above websites. Ask your boss if you can post some brief information about domestic violence on the lunchroom bulletin board. Put it in an email and send it to everyone in your address book with a quick note saying, "This is important information. You may not need it, but perhaps someone you know might need it, or someone that they love may need it." Everyone knows someone who is abused. Do not let this information stop with you. Perhaps today you will save a life without even knowing it. Please pass this on. You send jokes every day. Why not this? Put the information on a flyer and post it on a community bulletin board at your local library. If you work anywhere that people congregate, whether it is a coffee shop, clothing store, or insurance office, find out who is in charge of the reading material in waiting rooms or on coffee tables. If there is no material from domestic abuse centers, volunteer